Hey, how you doing? David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. Okay, you know something? I thought I would do a little bit of a State of the Union. We're a little bit into the new year now. Some things have happened, but just as usual, the world of Bond has started a slow roll to different things. So what are we doing? I'm going to go and talk about what I see the State of the Union. What are things that have transpired in this short time? And what are some things looking forward that we have to look forward to? And maybe, hold on a second, I think we've come to the crux to this video, maybe even pitching some ideas for all of us to gather around, to embrace, to connect together. This is the Bond community after all. But I do some of my best thinking while driving around. So I'll tell you what, I got my keys, I got my wheels. Jump in the passenger seat. Why don't you just come with me and I'll take you for a ride. Or some people don't like to be driven. Anyway, let's go. By the way, there is going to come a time, probably pretty soon, when I can't do this because there'll be ice and snow everywhere. But until that happens, I'm going to take these puppy out for its paces. I think you can agree with me. It's good therapy as I jump around. Anyway, let's do some basics. So first of all, I'm wearing an Oliver Brown t-shirt. I've got my Royal Filmwear on as well, my jacket, breaking it in nicely. Super comfortable. And I've got my Quantum of Solace Omega watch on. Fully kitted in Bond stuff. I know that's shocking. By the way, it's not very sunny out, but I do have astigmatism, and just for practical reasons, so as not to be stupid, I should put on my sunglasses, of which, back to Quantum of Solace, they are my Tom Ford, now prescription strength, sunglasses. I do like these puppies. They are comfortable, they're light. I know people are like, did you want to put lenses in there? They're a bit rare. It's okay. It's okay. I'll take my chances. I want to live my life and have fun with it. But let's talk about the year at hand. So far, it's been a fun year. There hasn't been a lot in the merchandising world, and that's okay. I'm sure the brand launches aren't going to be as fast and furious. Yeah, I did there. I went there. As we had last year. Just from a practical standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. We're not in a 60th anniversary of the entire franchise. So yeah, I just don't think there's going to be a major push to as many merchandising moments, branding moments, goodies, so to speak. Just because, well, what do we have? We have anniversaries of individual movies, but I don't know if there's going to be a marketing game plan to really galvanize official brands around that. I would hope that the official brands will take advantage of that. There are some that connect back to the different parts and pieces like Live and Let Die and Octopussy and From Russia with Love than others. I mean, who wouldn't want to see an NPL From Russia with Love line of clothing or, Oliver Brown Live and Let Die pieces, or Oliver Brown Octopussy for that matter. The list goes on. The thing that I've started to do though in preparation for this gap, for want of a better term, in the type of merchandising moments that maybe I'm used to or my channel gravitates to is, this is going to sound like so philosophical, but here we go. I've actually started an appreciation focus on my existing collection. What I mean by that is every single day without fail, 7 days a week when I'm around, I've gone down into my collection and focusing on the fact that I have a great collection. I'm very proud of the collection, and I exercise down in the collection. What I've started to do is just walk around and grab a piece or two and admire the piece. Think about the storytelling properties. How did I get that item? Who was the person that I had to interact with? What's my relationship with them? What's my relationship with the part in the movie that that item represents? And what I find that happens in any collection, this is not just mine, but with any collection, is that we tend to take them for granted. We really do. We stop appreciating them. Some of them go into poster tubes or up on a shelf. They gather dust. They don't get, as Joe Darlington says, a lot of fingerprints. And that's a darn shame. I've rediscovered a lot of pieces of my clothing, a lot of bags, a lot of sartorial items that I can use in my everyday life. I put them into my everyday closet out of my storage unit, so to speak, my storage area, which has been very important. But I've done this with a lot of my props and a lot of the pieces, my collectibles, my toys. I would hope that many of you that collect things do this just naturally. I hope that some of you are listening to this going, yeah, David, how are you not doing that on a regular basis? But life gets in the way, right? That's the age-old excuse. But I've slowed things down to start appreciate the smaller moments with this collectible aspect that I think collectors just don't do. So I'm forcing myself. Forcing is a harsh term. How about this? I'm learning to appreciate those quieter moments with what I have, as opposed to thinking about what is the next thing that I need to get. And I get it. Here I am driving around in an Aston Martin. It's a society that we live in. I'm a part of it, where you're thinking about the next thing, the next watch, the next ride, the next vacation. I'm going to take 2023 and stop and smell the roses. And the roses just happens to be my Bond collection and some of the pieces. So yeah, that's one of the things I'm doing. In doing that, I'm also going to be appreciating the smaller moments, the smaller gatherings. I've already started to have these sort of truncated moments with 2 or 3 of my Bond friends. Yes, I know. Not the big, giant halls with concerts, and I don't think we're going to have those this year. I think that was last year, and we can look back on that fondly in our programs and pictures and experiences that we had, our memories. But this year especially, I want to have these smaller moments, get my friends that I've had friends with, or I've been friends with for a decade or more, people like Joe Darlington, and just reconnect in these smaller moments. Maybe get together with their spouses. I love the fact that, for example, that fan clubs all around the world continue to keep the Bond end up by celebrating, and they understand that the secret ingredient of any Bond fan club is not James Bond. I know. David, what are you smelling the fumes? I mean, are there too many fumes in there? I'm just telling you that that's not what it's all about. It's about the people. And it's about 2 people getting together. 3, 30, 40, it doesn't matter. But that's one of the things I'm going to be focusing on. And because of that, and here's kind of a pitch, if you will, I am really excited about maybe hosting some general gatherings. Call them a gather-all, but a little bit more specific, a little bit more themed than a general gathering. Like, I live about a 50-minute train ride from New York City. It's great. I can get into the city for the day, come back, sleep in my own bed. Mwah! Chef kiss. Love it. Love the convenience. I like New York City, but I don't want to live there. And I don't want to be there overnight. Generally. It's a fun city. Anyway, I digress. What I would like to do is host a celebration of Live and Let Die. I know. There's at least 3, minimum 3, possibly 4 locations in New York City. They're easily accessible, fun to go to. There's restaurants all around, thematic moments. We've got some experts. I know. We've got some experts that can help us with that. We could be in themed clothing. We could have themed drinks, themed food. But it's a day of getting together, celebrating Live and Let Die, but mostly celebrating each other. And whoever can make it, make it. I don't want this to be a limitation thing. Now, I know walking around with 300 people is going to be impossible. Not difficult, Mission Impossible. So, some of it's going to have to be realistically setting expectations. But I know when it comes to travel and getting together, usually you get a small percentage of people that say they can show up, actually show up. So I think it could work. So that's one of my pitches. My other pitch is to create these other moments that we have in celebration. It could be destination parties. What about if somebody can get to one particular area? And by the way, this isn't just for me to host these things. That's a recipe for failure, not success. But I'm talking about London. We've got so many brothers and sisters in London that could host these things. We had Operation Oberhauser, which went incredibly well. And guess what? Didn't need to be 3,000 people. We had Matthew Wood also do, with his shaken not stirred arm, do the whole You've Had Your 60, the 60th celebration at Pinewood. What an incredible fan event. I mean, a whole weekend. And I heard from everybody it was the most incredible time. And then you've got different things like Bond in Motion in Brussels, which people are talking about doing some things with. I've heard through the grapevine that sometime in spring there may be even a celebration in Saratoga Springs where the new Bond in Motion has set up in New York. I know, my home state. So how exciting would that be for everybody to just get together, maybe do some Fleming moments, do some mud baths, take in a horse race, go see some Bond vehicles, I don't know, make bad decisions. These all sound like good things to me. But there's a big one. There's a big one that we haven't really talked about a lot. And that is, it's because a dare to talk about, dare to dream moment. And that is a movie. A James Bond movie, Bond 26. So much speculation going on. Aaron Taylor Johnson. You've got Henry Cavill. Not out of it yet. The boy's definitely not going to be Witcher. Not going to be Superman. I don't know. His dance card's a little bit open. I know. Wishful thinking. But the reality is that could we possibly see some sort of announcement this year? I do believe there will be an announcement. I think if there is an announcement, it's not going to be till later in the year. I think you're talking much later in the year. I think that I believe making a movie's like an iceberg. We see this, but you have this giant part of the triangle of the iceberg under the surface. So I'm sure Eon, if they maybe have started the process of writing, putting together some story ideas, wooing and talking to directors and getting everybody put into place, all the engine getting it revving, then they want to make the announcement. And I've had a lot of questions like, would they ever announce the actor before the director? And I think anything is possible. As we saw from the last film, they are not about just following the old formula. And there's usually speculation that states, well, that's not how they do it. They always get an unknown, and they always do this, and they always do that. I think Eon's now proven with the last movie that the always aspect has now shot out the window. It has left the building. Yes. And anything is now possible, which is very exciting because just like an Agatha Christie novel, you never know what's going to happen around the next corner unless you create that next corner. And so that's sort of the other thing that more and more people are talking about. Now there was a video, oh my gosh, a whole initiative around giving awards out for Bond Community 2022 awards. Roland Hume, accomplished author, put this together, content creator as well. He's got a great YouTube, great Instagram. And he basically reached out thinking nothing would happen and basically said, can you nominate different people in the Bond community who are worthwhile, who have done something worthwhile in the realm of article writing, YouTube, Instagram. This road is rough. My car's not going to like me later. Q's not going to like this. But he thought maybe a few people would get together and get a smattering and be this tiny little Instagram moment. He had thousands of people, thousands, vote and nominate. And he announced the winners. And what was great to see was you saw familiar people, you saw people that you're not familiar with. And it was enthralling to see just how much impact individuals have. None of the people listed, and I mean none, are individuals of an official capacity, except for Bond Woman of the Year, Kim Sherwood, author, friend. I mean, she's a Bond fan as well. But everybody else, we're just Joe Schmoes. You know, we don't have any official capacity. Nobody's an ambassador. We're just people. We're just friends. And so it was really incredible just to kind of look and understand that as we grope with what Bond's going to be in the future, the reality is that the future's here. We're already making an impact with people, creating content, consuming content, speaking to each other, getting together, speculating, having some breakfast together, making somebody a Vesper Martini when they've never had a Vesper Martini. Those are the Bond experiences. I always said it's these, you know, little moments that create big impact. I mean, that's really what it is. So this is about living life one moment at a time, not taking it in too much. So although, look, here I am making a video about speculation, what to expect, a little bit of a pitch here and there of what to do with it, State of the Union, if you will. I really think the State of the Union is everything is as is, meaning as it always has been since the 1960s when the first movie debuted, where you still have the schoolyard discussions. The kids in the schoolyard are a little bit older, a little grayer. They've got slightly bigger toys maybe, but we're all still kids at heart, still enjoying a fantasy, whether it's a fantasy in life or a fantasy on the screen. We're all escaping together. So the State of the Union, as much of a cop-out as this may seem, is we're continuing on. We're staying calm, and we're continuing and carrying forward. And I tell you what, when you start to think about gluts, when you start to think about gaps, these giant mawing holes in between movies, that should give you a little bit of peace of mind. I know it does for me. So let's keep it going, but it's going to start with you. So here's how we're going to run this world right now. In the comments below, I would like you, yes, you, not you, but yes, you. I would like you to write down something in 2023 that you're looking forward to, or an idea of something that we could all get around or do or experience in 2023. It could be your grandmother's peach cake. I don't care. Write it down below. I'd love to see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an Instagram off of this video, and I'm going to go down and read every single one of these, except for the ones that are inappropriate. No, you're not going to get away with that. But you are going to feed the content of that Instagram video. So please get typing. No idea is a bad idea. And this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.